Hello everyone, and thank you very much for having me here today. I was asked around a couple of months ago to meet the Huntington's Queensland people to see if... Yeah, thank you.
Sorry everybody.
Whichever is best for you.
Yeah, oh, that's great, thank you. Thank you. I'm a bit of a mover around us, so that's good. And so we had a bit of a conversation, and there were tears, and I always think that's a great place to start. When we're talking about things that are very important to us, there are often tears. They're tears of joy, tears of deep meaning. That's the way we're wired. And I noticed when I came in today, there's a box of tissues on each end of the stage, so I thought I'm in the right place here. So I'd like to talk to you about advanced care planning, and the do I have?
Point.
Okay. So advanced care planning is all about planning for our future. And here we are, you've got a planning day, and we've already got planning in our title, so I thought that was a good fit as well. So today we're going to talk about what is advanced care planning, and we call it ACP, just another three-letter acronym that you need to hear about. Why should we plan ahead? What can we do for ourselves, and what can we do for others? And any questions that you have, but I think that'll be the end of the panel. So what is advanced care planning? We often have the D put there, advanced care planning. Although you sometimes need advanced conversations, and often people with advanced disease have these conversations, it's actually advance. So it's in the future. We're talking about a time in the future. And what's the care part of it? Well, it's our health care. So my background is I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for a very long time. And I've only ever really worked guiding, supporting people with life-limiting illness, and hoping that they have an opportunity to live their best life. So couldn't have had a better intro this morning from the people that you've met. And the planning thing is about choices, yeah? Everybody is different. Everybody has different choices. And as we heard from Janice and Rebecca today, everybody likes to live their own life, their own version, what they call a meaningful life. So what is advanced care planning? It's a process, so it's not a one-off thing. Sorry, it's not a one-off thing. So I was trying to avoid the... we often start thinking about what's important to us in our own heads. Yeah, we have conversations that's a good life, or I wouldn't want that for myself, or I wouldn't want that for my family. So the conversations start in our own head. And then we get a little bit braver and we start to talk about people, to other people, about what's important to us. And then if we have a health condition, we need to talk about those things with our doctors as well, and our healthcare teams. So it's about making choices ahead of time, so that if there were a time in the future when we cannot express what's important to us and make decisions for ourselves, other people already know this stuff. It's about choosing a great decision maker on our behalf, someone you trust to stand for you and make decisions, the hard decisions, on your behalf. So choosing a good decision maker is terribly important. And I can see in the room today, you are often buddied with people that you already trust. Yeah, you already trust people in your life to stand for you and advocate for you. Writing down these choices is something that is more important in the healthcare system now than ever before, because doctors look for documents to support decisions. So writing them down, making sure that other people know what's important to you, so decisions can be made that reflect your values, the decisions that you would make for yourself if you were able. So if you were suddenly injured, or became seriously ill, who would know your wishes? So what are the most important things for you? What do doctors and your decision makers need to know about you so that they can make the right decisions on your behalf? So I'm going to share with you, we've already had some research and you may want to be part of research projects in the future. We've got some latest research to share with you. It's only to 2017, still compiling 2018 as we speak. I'd like to... I don't know how good you are at reading graphs. I usually switch off. But I don't know whether you know this, but since the dawn of time, right up until the present day, our lifetime risk of dying is 100%. So we know this, and we often know these days there aren't so many of us who die sudden deaths now. Most of us die knowing that we're coming towards the end of our lives, yeah? So if we know this, we also really need to plan, because nobody else is going to make the same choices, exactly the same choices as we would make ourselves. It's not always easy these days to die peacefully. I used to teach nursing students and doctors in Singapore, and I would ask them, how would you choose to die? Most people say things like, in my own bed, surrounded by the people that I love and trust. I would like to be pain-free. I'd like to be comfortable. I'd like to have a sense that I'm still myself as I leave this world. However, it's pretty tough to do that if we don't put that stuff down, but also because there is so much more available medically. And often when we talk about advanced care planning, people think that means that you're choosing your particular medical treatments. It doesn't actually mean that. It means whatever medical treatments come to my orbit, what is the outcome that I would want from those treatments? How would I want to be after I've received that treatment? Not yes or no to cardiopulmonary resuscitation, but if I were to have cardiopulmonary resuscitation, how would I like to be afterwards? Yeah? So that's the stuff that we can write down ourselves. So how do you make a plan? You think about what's important to you. You think about your values, your beliefs, and your wishes. You talk to the people that are important to you in your life about this stuff. You discuss the choices with your doctors. You decide what your preferences would be, as in the outcomes of any particular treatment. And you choose a great decision maker. If you make your wishes known, then no matter what happens down the track, and we're hoping that it's a long way down the track, then if that time comes when you can't make decisions for yourself, you trust that decisions will be made in keeping with your own personal values. So these are the documents in Queensland, and every state is different, so we've got different laws, different jurisdictions, different forms. We've got the Advanced Health Directive. We've got the Enduring Power of Attorney form. That's the form where you, as an adult, appoint somebody else to make decisions on your behalf when you can no longer make decisions yourself. And we've got the Statement of Choices. Now, the Statement of Choices is the stuff, and Janice, I love the way you talked about the things that are important to you and to Rebecca. That's the beginning part of the form. The form says, this is what I value in my life. This is what gives my life meaning. And you can also write down, if this were the case, my life would no longer hold the meaning that I would want. So I wouldn't want treatments to prolong a life that I no longer would value. So I have brought the Statement of Choices with me today. Please take one from the table. And there's a brochure too about advanced care planning. And for the tech-savvy people like you, Rebecca, there's a website with all these documents on it and how you might use them. Which document is for you? Just to remember that the whole process is voluntary. Nobody can say, we need a form from you. Nobody can say this is a mandatory thing. The mandatory thing is that we as healthcare professionals need to offer you the opportunity and support to make these sorts of choices. So generally speaking, the more we know about you, the better decisions we'll make on your behalf. And we need to know who you've chosen as a decision maker. So if you were to come into the emergency department, we need to know who you have given the authority to ring and talk about what's important. We don't want to be talking to somebody that you haven't given that authority to. It's an individual decision. We need to talk about capacity, and remember, capacity is not a fixed black and white thing. You might have capacities for some part of your life. I've never had capacity for IT, for instance, probably never will. But I do have capacity for other things. So capacity is individual, but when you're talking about decision making for healthcare, it's being able to understand what any particular treatment is, what the outcome is likely to be, what happens if I don't have that treatment, and to be able to communicate those things back. And remember, things change over time. You guys know that better than most. So decisions that you might make now may change as things progress in the future. So the Statement of Choices is a Queensland first. The wonderful thing about Statement of Choices is you can write down what's important to you now to be communicated into the future. But if you've got someone in your life who's already lost some capacity and you already need to help support them with decision making, you can have a document written now about what's important to them, and decisions can be made in keeping in the future. And remember, the enduring power of attorney document is the one where you choose and give authority to another person to make decisions on your behalf. So keep the original documents yourself. I always call it the red folder, because in our household, all those important things like wills and enduring power of attorney and house deeds and stuff like that, they're all in the same red folder. And email a copy, and this is also in Queensland as a first. You email a copy of all your ACP documents to the Office of Advanced Care Planning. There's someone like me, a clinical nurse consultant, that'll go through the document to make sure that it'll be effective in the future. And then we can upload it onto your secure Queensland Health medical record. So you don't actually have to have physically the document with you. If you end up in the emergency department, the emergency doctor just clicks on, sees that you've already completed your enduring power of attorney, your statement of choices, can read your actual words, what's important to you, and start to make good decisions on your behalf. So the time is now. Even if you're not going to do a document today, please start to think about it a little bit more, start to talk about it with the people that are important to you, communicate it as best you can, and in the healthcare system that we work today, it works better if there is a document. Please check the My Care, My Choices website. That's not my health record. This is the secure Queensland Health site and system so that we can be able to share the documents. And that's how to get hold of us. There's someone like me on the end of the line, so if you get halfway through the document and think, I'm not sure what's going on here, you can ring up, you can say, can I talk to Sabrina or one of the other clinical nurse consultants, and we can just help you with the next step. So it's a very open system. We can give you any support that you need to complete the documents. Thank you very much.